Thank you. Ooh.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
I play the flute too, actually.
Awesome. For real?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Wow, fellow flutist. How long have you been playing the flute, Lisa?
Wow. It's been, well, I started out with the regular, like a recorder, when I was like, I think 7. And then I moved up to a actual, like, like a concert flute.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that since I was like maybe, I would say like 10 years old until I still sometimes play. So
Awesome.
yeah, and then I have a wooden flute too, like you do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is amazing. You started that early. I haven't even been playing. I've only been playing for since 2019, so about 4 years
Oh,
now.
oh wow. Yeah. Actually, that's a really interesting story how that started.
Hmm.
I was always interested in, playing musical instruments. And actually, one time when I was like maybe, yeah, 7 years old, I started hearing the flute out of nowhere. I was completely alone, and I started hearing the flute, and I was like looking around, like in the house, what's that? Where's that coming from? Because I didn't have like a TV on, and for me, that was definitely an angel playing a flute. It was for me like a message that I had to play the flute.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. That so it was like was it like one of your guides or you felt like it was an angelic spirit that was around you?
Yeah, actually, I can see angels. Like they look like little glows, and I don't always see them, but sometimes they, show up like with certain people or at certain places. And I've always been really interested in these beings, like I actually can see fairies too, but not dwarves. They're really shy about, like I really want to see a dwarf, but um, yeah, I've taken mushrooms to actually try to see them, but even then they don't. They're pretty shy. I've only actually seen a dwarf um, when I was dreaming recently. I think that was actually this year that I saw my first dwarf in my dream. It was a blue one, like kind of like a Smurf,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And when you saw it, what was your reaction when you saw it?
Wow, it was amazing. Like I was just so happy that I could finally see one because they're so shy about humans. They're like not even they don't even show up to me, like, and I'm like, in the forest like almost every day. I'm like looking out for them. I'm, you know, very in touch with nature, but even then they're still pretty shy. So
Hmm.
it's actually a really good sign if you can get a message from a dwarf, I feel like.
Wow. Wow. You know, you reminded me of one of my friends who was talking about the Fae beings and, you know, this the Fae realm. Is this like a whole realm that is within our realm? Like how do you explain you know, these beings that are shy around humans,
Yeah.
but they exist around us, but we don't see them. Like, what is the realm?
Well, I think actually it's a realm that some of us can tune into.
Okay.
And so it's like multidimensional. They're multidimensional beings. So, uh, I guess certain people just naturally through their DNA, like I guess some people I think have more ancient DNA than others. And but this is definitely something that you can anybody could develop, and I think the easiest way to do it is to just make contact with them, like just saying it out loud or telepathically. Um, Often, you just say like, "Hey, I want to make contact with you. Can you please show up in my dreams, or can you give me a sign?" And of course, you have to be a nature loving person too. Like you have to love animals. It's they like vegetarians. Like if you're eating meat, you know, like then it's not that it won't happen because actually I had my all of my experience, a lot of them, not all of them. I've had what I meant to say is a lot of them when I was eating meat.
Mm.
So, but yeah, that was a long time ago, and like I said, some people just have DNA that is just naturally very sensitive to these frequencies, and like I said, you can ask to hear them, to see them,
Mhm.
and even if you do still eat meat and you know are not so nature loving, if you still make contact with them, then they're going to open up somehow. And but they do really appreciate when people get into vegetarianism and getting lighter, energetically. So
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you for explaining this because, you know, it's something that I feel is not often explored, especially in the circles that I'm in, when we're talking about these realms and these beings that are here, like all around us. But you said they're sort of shy to come around us or to reveal themselves to us. Is it
yeah,
is it that?
yeah, they're very shy. I think, the ones that are actually the easiest to see are probably fairies and angels. Um, those are the easiest, and I feel like I've heard quite a lot of people actually telling me too that they see angels and they can see
Mhm.
fairies. But I've never heard anybody who's told me that they've seen a dwarf or they've seen a leprechaun or something like that, you know? I've actually felt a leprechaun's presence when I was in England one time. I even said it, I was like, I feel like there's a leprechaun in here, but they're also pretty shy. And dragons, I also have a very strong connection to dragons and aliens. Like, um, dragons, actually, the first time I met one was when I took the mushrooms to see the dwarves, and I actually saw dragons instead. And that's when I met my dragon, and he told me, he was guiding me, and I felt I felt like wow, I was not expecting that at all. I was like, whoa. And then
Wow.
actually recently I met a few other dragons that were making contact with me. A red dragon, and the first time this ever happened that I've seen in real life a blue dragon. That happened maybe last month, and it was like a glimpse. It was actually like covering itself like this, like
Mhm.
it didn't show its face. I just saw its like wing, and I was out in the forest, and I had no idea that this year was the year of the water dragon, like the wood water dragon. So for me, like to know that before, just from seeing this, was amazing. I was like, whoa, like it's possible, you know, it's really possible to tune into these frequencies and see these beings. And for me, that's my passion, is to talk to these beings and make contact with them.
Yeah. This is amazing,
Yeah,
Lisa. This is amazing. You know, now I know why it's called Lisa's
yeah,
Adventureland, you know? Now I see. So, you know, you were looking for dwarfs and you met your dragon by
yeah.
accident. Whoa. Whoa.
And they have a message. They actually have a message for us, you know. They told me in an out of body experience that I had, the dragons, that they would actually be coming into the 3D realm.
Hmm.
Back, they would be coming back to the 3D realm because they used to be here. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool that they decided to come, or that they will come. Because I saw one, I was like, whoa, I have no idea how that happened, and but I'm just gonna be, you know, just thankful and see how that develops in this world.
Right, right. And when you saw it, what made you say that this is my dragon? You said when I found my dragon. What made you feel like that?
Well, the only time I had this feeling like, oh, this is my dragon, was when I took those mushrooms and I saw this dragon because he told me his name. And I heard later on, as I was doing some research on dragons, that if they reveal their names, that's a huge sign that they're a dragon, and you're not supposed to say their names to unless they tell you, you know. And that's often the case with a lot of these beings, is that with their names, if you know their names, you hold a power, like that. They're kind of like, not servants to humans, but they help us if we know like their names.
Hmm.
Like if you tell them, okay, your name is John. John, can you come over here and help me with something, you know? And they have to do it, you know. They have to do it.
They have to like they're bound to you?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you could say it like that. I've heard that with leprechauns, about leprechauns, and I've heard that about dragons. I don't know if that's the case with all beings like that, um, but you know, I haven't done that because I'm like, you know, I have no idea. Like, I don't know too much about that, so I'm not gonna, you know, play around with that right now. Um, but I guess you could say something like, "Hey, dragon, can you please grant me this wish?" You know, like to manifest something.
Mhm.
And they could. I would think that they would actually help you because if it's your dragon, then it's supposed to help you with your life. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, you know, it's interesting because we even have Mila here. Mila is saying that she knows a dwarf friend as well.
Oh yeah.
And and she's saying also like Puff the Magic Dragon. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Shout out to Mila. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. That's awesome. That that she has a dwarf friend. Nice.
Yeah, yeah, you know,
Talking to them.
especially considering, you know, what you said about the shyness of dwarves, you know, that she has a friend like that. Because, you know, when you're talking about this, you give me a
Yeah.
vision. There was a game I used to play. I don't know if you ever played video games.
Yeah. I
Do you
used to
ever?
play video games all the time.
So there's a game called Skyrim. Do you ever remember that
Yeah.
game?
I know that game.
So in Skyrim, in the Elder Scrolls series, in this game in particular, you were playing this character named Dovahkiin, which in the game was called Dragonborn, you know, and you were Dovahkiin and you had to learn the dragon language. You know, there was a whole dragon lineage and the dragons were flying and then, you had to learn these words from the dragons, and whenever you spoke the dragon word, it would be powerful. There would power would emanate from you, from your voice. And like you said, with the name, just knowing the name in the game, when you knew the name or the word of the dragon, you could turn invisible, you could shout and people would be repelled from you, you could
Oh,
make a force field,
yeah.
you could breathe fire, all sorts of stuff would happen. But it was the language of the dragon, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, good. Like, thank you for mentioning that because I feel like, oftentimes these video games and films that they have that are out there, they have some truth to
Mm.
them. So I live like an esoteric life, like a mystic life. So I've been aware of God's presence since before I was born. I mean, my parents, we were all always just believing in God. There was never a time that I doubted that God existed, and I feel like when you have this knowing, the strong knowing that there's something out there that controls life and how it works, life will reveal secrets to you in just these very mystical ways. And that's what also brings me back to why I called myself Lisa in Adventureland, because every day, like, I get messages from different beings, or I get random channelings from different gods, like randomly, like they just say, "Hey, Lisa," you know. And it's like, yeah, if you open yourself up to believing that gods exist, that dwarves exist, that dragons exist, you know, they will eventually exist in your life. And that's kind of why I feel like I came to Earth, is to remind people that, there's a realm that that is accessible pretty much. It's not like, super accessible right now, but with the frequencies that we're receiving from the sun right now that are so like potent, it's like if you start to transform yourself right now spiritually, whatever way that means for you, you're gonna be able to see these beings. Like, I've been getting some crazy effects, like just recently, and that I've never had before. And you it's I'm cleansing. I'm and it's nothing too intense. Like, I'm not going crazy right now about cleansing or whatever, but it's more about the intention. It's the intention and this purity. It's the purity of your heart and your soul that counts. It's not about, oh, I have to be perfect in this way or that way. It's about the purity of your intentions that counts.
I agree. I agree. And that's a that's a beautiful message, the purity of intention. And when you're speaking, I like how you say, they just say, hey Lisa,
Yeah.
like, hey, you know, it reminds me, do you remember Zelda?
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
So Zelda, there was a character named Link, and you played Link in Zelda, but there was also a fairy that would follow you, and it would be like this glowing orb, and the fairy would just be like, "Hey," and I think it was called Navi or Navi.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was almost like your navigation
Yeah.
system, but Navi short, and it would be like, hey. So when you're seeing these orbs or when you're seeing these, you're saying, is that the way that you see angels or is that the way that you see fairies? Do they look like that?
Yeah. Actually, they look like glows, and depending on which angel or which being it is, they glow differently, and they have different colors too. So different angels have different colors. I've seen like also like just energy blotches too. Like, that's rare. That's really rare that I see that. I usually just see like, little glows, and and I'll have my eyes closed and I can see them sometimes, and then I'll have my eyes completely open in broad daylight and I'll see them.
The
And
little
they're big. Yeah, they're usually guiding me too. Like you said with Zelda, they're guiding me and they're telling me things telepathically as I'm with somebody or talking to somebody. They'll just show up and tell me, like, for example, I have a good example. If I think if there's an energy that I'm feeling from somebody that is saying, "Oh, I don't like this person," sometimes the angels will come and they'll be like, they'll glow and they'll be like, dude, just chill out. This person's okay. Like, don't be skeptical of everyone. Watch out. Like, they're giving me little hints about certain things and certain people. They love to help me out. I guess, you know, it's a gift that has developed ever since I did my Breatharian. I did my own Breatharian ritual, actually. For 7 days, I went on a water fast with no intentions, actually. My intention was like mainly to um, to get healthier, to get healthier and lighter and to take a dive into this world because it was completely new to me. So I wanted to get my you know my foot in the water, and so I did that 7 day water fast, and actually after the after I ended it and it was like the last day, I got the clearest message I've ever gotten from an angel. And I had never seen like angels like this before, right? Like I didn't see the glows at this time. I feel like this Breatharian ritual that I did helped me to see them actually. And what happened was I got an angel who told me, Lisa, my name is Ezekiel. I had no idea who Ezekiel was. All I knew was that he was in the Bible somewhere, right? And he was like, my name's Ezekiel. I'm here and I want to tell you that you have to spread the word out that the golden age is going to come and that people have to prepare for this, you know? You have to tell people that the golden age is coming and heaven on earth will come.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, okay. Like this was random. I was outside and I had never had like an angel channeling like that before. And ever since I did this Breatharian ritual, that's when the channelings got crazy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you call a channeling, like channeling information?
Yeah, channeling information from a being that um like I don't sit there waiting for a channeling. It just happens. It's like spontaneously. Like it's really interesting, and it's not often that I get these channelings, but I've had it with a few different gods and with a few well, actually just Ezekiel, really, this archangel Ezekiel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You remind me, and I think I had one with Gabriel
Uh,
because that came to me. I was awoken from my sleep. So I was awakened just suddenly. This was years ago, like many, many years ago. And it woke me up with my name. It said my name. And it didn't say Jerome. It said my middle name, Daniel. It said Daniel. And I woke up. I was like, huh? And I just remember hearing the name Gabriel. Like that just either I heard it or it just came into my awareness or my
yeah.
consciousness, you
Yeah,
know?
that's definitely a channeling. Like you're channeling when you're not sure if what you heard was real.
Yeah.
It's real, it's real.
I didn't get a message after that. It was just that.
Yeah,
Like that was it. It was just the announcing of, my name and then that name and then that was it. I didn't but I felt like there was a presence here, you know? Something happened, something extraordinary just occurred and it just affected me the whole rest of the day. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk about it, I didn't know who to tell. It was like, who do you tell? Who do you talk to about these things? So
yeah,
that, yeah, that was a moment. Yeah.
yeah. It's probably your guardian angel.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I should do some research on that. You know, when you're talking about these beings, Lisa, you know, the dwarfs, the dragons, the fairies, the angels, the leprechauns, like all these beings, what do you feel is their role or their responsibility in the realm? Like what role do you feel like they play for us?
Um, my I think that their role is to kind of remind us to be gentle with not only ourselves and each other, but also with nature. Like they don't like to see that people don't really give consideration to the plant life. Like they don't see the spirits within these plants and these trees and um, I'm not saying that everyone is like that, of course, but a lot of people just are unaware of the fact that life is in these, plants and they don't like, they prefer like having a wild garden over like a garden that is just, like grass and is like clean and perfect. It's like they just appreciate when people notice that they're there, that they're in nature, and that every plant, every tree has a being that protects it. Just like we have a guardian angel, every being, every animal, every plant also has one. And um, yeah, they feel like it would be nice if we could be just more harmonic with each other, with ourselves, and with our environment.
Hmm. Wow. You know, it's interesting because I'm listening to you speak, Lisa, and I remember having friends, different friends, that at different times would take me into the forest and we would just be going hiking, but then
Hmm.
they would take me, you know, they would trust me enough to take me to an area and to a special tree, like an elder tree, an elder oak, or an elder, you know, just like a wise old tree. And they would place their hand on the tree and they would be like, hey, you know, this is Jerome, this is my friend, you know, I just wanted to say hello, just wanted you to meet him. And you know, they, it was like they were letting me into their domain, like into their space. And it's interesting because they felt, my friends, they felt like the tree was their guardian, but you're saying that the trees have their own guardians.
Yeah.
Like the trees themselves, they have guardians that watch over
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, exactly. Just like um, we have lots of actually we have lots of guardians. Not only do we have a guardian angel, we also have a spirit that takes care of our body, like just making sure that it's working properly. And yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the person how many spirit guides they might have too. Usually they say it's one or two, but I've heard different things that it can be different for different people. So not only do you have guardian angels or a guardian angel, you have like a elemental spirit that is protecting your body, and you have uh, spirit guides, and there are certain people like me, for example, that have different gods watching over them. They have different uh, elemental beings watching over them too. So it really depends on the person, uh, what who's watching over them, and usually you can tell who's watching over you. Like for example, if you're into gods or angels, if there's a certain god that you've always like heard a lot about, or you're drawn to, or if there's an angel you're drawn to, or you've heard a lot about, that's usually the one that is watching over you. And people like us who are into spirituality and pranic living, we have a lot of people, beings watching us actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, this is amazing to know, just to feel like you're being protected, to feel you're being guided, to feel you're being looked after and watched over, you know, by these
Yeah.
beings. We even have, I know Ashley is here saying, beautiful message, Lisa. Yes, we need our elemental spirits to help with balancing energies between each other and nature. Do you resonate with that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. She said, I have a personal affinity with the dragons and fairy elemental beings as well. And Mila says, my spirit guide has a spirit guide. Wow. I didn't even
I
know
know
spirit guide.
that.
I'm learning so much. You're teaching us so much here. So, when it comes to the dragon energy, that draconic or draconian, I don't know how you would say that draconian energy of the dragon, when you saw it in the forest and you said it was shielding with its wing, its like arm or its wing was kind of covering itself. What was it? Was it like massive? What did it just, because you said it was in this realm, it was in the 3D, it wasn't like you were dreaming, it wasn't in the metaphysical realm, you saw it in this realm here.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because I was walking in the forest and something just appeared and then disappeared. So, so I saw it for like 2 seconds, and that's the first time that's ever happened for me, like that I've seen a being like that. The only other time that I've seen a being other than a human or an animal that we know, or seen as a human collective, that I've actually seen while I was falling asleep. I saw an alien, like half asleep, um, like just falling into sleep. And then I just got this, like, just alien, and he sent me this like telepathic emotion. They can send you emotions telepathically, and I got the sense of love and peace I've never felt in this world before. And I was having such a crappy day that day. I felt so shitty. I felt like I was like crying a lot. And this alien wanted to reassure me that everything was fine. And I don't know. I guess I had always had kind of like, not kind of like negative associations with aliens before, because I've had some weird experiences with aliens when I was going out of body, and this one, but I had never had like such a positive experience like that. That was pretty amazing. It showed me that not all aliens are bad.
So not all of them are malevolent or have evil intentions. Like some of
Yeah,
them are benevolent, like they have good intentions. And when you said that it telepathically sent you the emotion or the feeling of love and peace, like you've never felt it before.
exactly.
Like, was
Yeah.
it overwhelming, or was it just like flowing? What did it feel like in that moment?
Yeah, I felt like deep peace and deep love, like I've never felt in this world before. And then I realized that what was actually going on, like that an alien was sending me this like telepathically, and I got scared. Like my first reaction was to get scared because it's something new, like it's not something I've ever seen or done before and or experienced before, and especially like half asleep, that makes it even, because all of my alien contacts have been out of body or in dreams. This was the first time where I've been like half asleep, and but as soon as it realized that I had just this like small amount of fear, it just left, like, and then it was over. But um yeah, that was pretty cool. Like I really appreciated that. Um
Yeah.
yeah, that moment for sure.
When you have these moments, do you take it as a sign that you're heading in the right direction? Like, what do you take it as for you when you have these moments?
um yeah, I feel like when I get um these visions and these experiences, I do feel like it's a sign that that everything is good, that I should just keep going. Because honestly, I've been depressed since, I was a kid, like I'm just coming out of this depression. And actually, when I was doing this Breatharian healing, I thought I was over my depression. And then that's when life hit me the hardest. Actually, I was nearly homeless at that point, after I had done all this stuff and all these cleanses and all this healing. That's when life hit me the hardest, actually. And I lost my home. I had to give away all of my belongings. Um, I moved countries, like, and it was a hard time for me because it was the first time I've ever had to do that, and it was very uncertain. Like, and I have kids too, so it's also like as a family, that's really tough
Mm.
to have, is because if you're, if I would be by myself and have gone through that experience, then, I just go backpacking or something. But like with kids, it's, you need to have like some sort of like income to like, feed your family and stuff like that, right? So, um, but yeah, I fell into a depression again, and I realized that it wasn't over. Like, and the funny thing was that, well, it's not really too funny, but the sad thing was um, that I got stranded in Germany with my family, and we had no home. So we had to actually call a friend, and she let us stay with her for that time while we were looking for a place. But that was the hardest time for me because it was something that I had already mentioned to God before that I didn't want to do. I didn't, like, my friend had already asked me before if we wanted to move with her, and I had said no, I don't want to. And then I ended up, like, life ended up doing it for me anyway, and um, that was a really hard time. And that's also like a message that, I would like to share with people, is that, you know, even though, you might be going through all these changes that are spiritual, doesn't mean that there aren't going to be hard times, and but also, you know, it's a good time to also look into these shadows, what is left there, because they're coming for a good reason. It's to show you that there are still identifications lingering with certain things, like, and it's a journey, it's a process. And thankfully, I'm coming out of this depression again. And yeah, it's interesting that I have all these experiences with these elemental beings. And yeah, I guess I've always felt like I don't belong in here, like I don't belong in this type of world. And because I remember my star family, like I still remember, I have had lots of out of body experiences with visions of my past lives. And I remember that I could do, telekinesis, telepathy, and all these things. And magic existed in this realm. And, to have that all taken away is like, yeah, it's obviously sometimes a bummer to not remember how to do it, how to,
You cannot remember?
yeah, to not remember how to be able to um, just teleport or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Lisa, when you're talking about losing everything, not just you, but you and your family with no belongings, no home, no shelter, no place to call your own, and you're just stranded. What do you feel, really got you through that time? What kept you strong, or what gave you hope, to keep going and to not give up?
Yeah, the angels, definitely. I would say you know, my belief in God and my support of that I had, um, you know, my angel friends, my fairy friends. That's and of course my I also have like a dog and my children. You know, my children, my family. That's the main reason why is I didn't want to let them down. I didn't want to, you know, I'm a very empathic person. I think about others a lot, and um, yeah, that was for me. Like, you know, I can't let my children down, and yeah, definitely, I feel like eventually things got better. So I felt like, you know, also the knowledge that I had that, you know, things wouldn't stay like that forever, you know, like nothing ever stays the same ever. So I knew that eventually like a better time would come. It was still just really difficult to experience that in real life, that you're nearly homeless, you don't have a home of your own, and you have almost no belongings. I mean, it's also a freeing thing to not have so many belongings, but you know, when you're living already in this type of society where you kind of need to have some sort of things, is difficult to get by, you know. So that was definitely a an eye opener, and I guess, you know, it makes sense now coming out of this why I had to go through that. I felt like, you know, God wants to have me experience complete death, like of the ego, like complete death of like who I thought I was, that I wasn't these things. I wasn't Lisa. I wasn't any of this. Like this is, you know, actually like a dream, you know, like the one true thing that was always there was my consciousness, which is who I truly am. So I had to actually remind myself. God wanted to remind myself that I didn't need all of these things. Yeah, they're nice, but actually, your consciousness is who you truly are.
That's the message.
Yeah,
That's right there, you know. I felt like you channeled that just now,
yeah.
you know, for me. I needed to hear that, you know. I needed that reminder. You know, it's like the consciousness is it. Like it's all there is, the not the one, but the one who watches. Like the one who's observing all of this, the one who's witnessing all of this, that has no name, that is just that's still you, you know? And it's wow, the consciousness. That's so deep. And you know, it's wonderful to be able to get that reminder, especially in a time that is tumultuous, a time of turmoil, a time of like trial, you know. So, you know, I love that you got that lesson. And even Mila is saying here, your faith is such a strong gift. Mila says, your faith is a gift. Orbicron says, I'm sure you're a wonderful mother. Yeah, yeah. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments. You guys are wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when you were going through your, was it a breatharian training with Akai and Camilo? Like, what was the initiation, the breatharian healing? What even kind of got you in that trajectory, in that direction that inspired you to do that?
Well, actually, that was a while ago when I first heard about Breatharian healing was like, I think in 2017 or 2018. And it was brought up, actually, I think I heard in 2017 for the first time. It was brought up by my partner, and he brought it up, and I felt like, oh my gosh, Breatharianism sounds so fake. It sounds like it wouldn't work at all. I was like a complete non-believer. And then I think it was like a year later in 2018 when I actually started to like fast, you know, like I decided, okay, you know what, maybe like there's some truth in this. Like maybe it's not all like it's interesting because it's like life wanted it brought it to me, you know. It was like, hey Lisa, look, like this is for you. And I was saying, you know, yeah, right, you know. And then but thankfully you know, I just needed time. People just need time sometimes to kind of process certain things because you're living in a world that brainwashes you like almost everywhere. And yeah, like certain people need more time to process new things, and eventually like the following year in 2018 I did the Breatharian healing for myself, like with Akahi and Camila. They have um like a website, and I, you know, joined their pranic healing, and I tried that out, and I really, it was the first time that I could see what Akahi was saying when that you can see the energy like in the air, you know, you can see like these little vibrations of little energy bubbles. And I was like, after fasting for like 7 days, like we had like 3 dry fast days, and I think it was like 4 water fast days. And I was like, wow, like I can't believe I'm actually seeing what he says, you know, just through being lighter like that. And I definitely felt like it was working something within me. And then that's why later on I decided that I would become a Breatharian healer myself, so I could pass this on to other people who wanted to heal, you know, to heal somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, when you said it, it like opened you up to see certain things, did it give you any questions? Like, did it make you question your own reality or your own mentality of before, you know, like what Lisa was doing years ago, maybe the levels of consumption you had or the level that you thought you needed to exist, to live? Like, did it kind of give you any questions of, you know, your reality in that way?
Yeah, like I definitely was amazed at how much you actually really, you know, can take when it comes to food. When like after you're done with this process, it's like you just have like a bite or two of something and you're already full. It's like, and before, you know, I was eating like, you know, what most of us eat, like, well, at least most of you know, most of the society eats like, you know, 3 meals a day, and that's what we were trained. And so I can say that even after I did this, all of these healings, it was still really difficult for me to reprogram my mind to be fine with just eating like small amounts. Um, and that's exactly why I kept fasting, because I felt like, you know, eventually there's going to be a time when my brain gets rewired to remember that we don't actually need to consume anything. And so that's, but the key I think is if you believe in Breatharianism and want to become Breatharian, or at least, you know, head that direction, the key is not to force yourself into being that. The key is to actually tune into your body and how it feels when you eat first. um, that's, you know, be aware when you eat, because oftentimes we just realize you just realize that you're just eating because it's pleasurable. It's not because you're hungry. It's because you were trained to eat and like certain tastes. So I had to stop like forcing myself, because I had like, I would like dry fast like every Monday, right? And like make like regular fasts. And I was like, eventually I had to stop that, because um, I realized that I was starting to develop like negative feelings about it. And so it's, I think the good thing for someone is to do it so that it comes naturally, that you want to fast because you remember how good it feels. Yeah. So, so yeah, the key is to make sure that it comes from a natural place, and in the meantime, look at your relationship with what you're eating and how you feel. I think that's the key.
Hmm. Hmm. These are major keys, you know, major keys. And I thank you for your testimony.
Oh,
You know, I thank you coming from your own own firsthand experience, your own lived-in experience, to see it for yourself. Like to see it for your health, but also see it for yourself and witness, like, how much do I actually need? Like, how much do I actually need to just to be free? I came from the same way of living where, we were eating 3 meals a day plus snacks,
Yeah,
plus snacks in between those 3 meals. And yeah, it was just normal. It was just normal. And I didn't have a connection with the food when I was eating at all. When I was eating, I didn't have a connection. I was watching TV while I was eating. I was scrolling social media while I was eating. I was doing everything else while I was consuming that. Afterwards, I mean, I still was hungry. I was still hungry, you know? So I wasn't satiated. My body wasn't satisfied. Nothing was really being fulfilled. But like you said, the taste, pleasure, the sensation of food, it was just the textures, the taste, the flavor, the all of that stuff was just a chemical cocktail in my body that was just going off all the time, and I was so oblivious to it. So thank you for that testimony. Thank you for just bringing it down to earth with, don't rush into this, really just feel, observe, be present, and be aware, like be mindful with what you're actually consuming. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to my testimony. I think it's nice that people hear, hear that these beings exist, and that also that if you want to live a more healthy lifestyle, then just tune into your body, like tune into your reality, and to become more aware of what's going on every moment, instead of, yeah, just not caring about what's going on. Like, I think that's the major focus that um, we should remind ourselves.
Hmm. Hmm. And as well, before we go, I wanted to touch on this because it said that you also did a fair amount of parasite cleansing. Like, you remember cleansing certain parasites in your body. What was that like for you to see certain things be released from your body?
Yeah, yeah, that was also like a very, you know, intense. That was the most intense detox cleanse that I've ever done in my life. Um, and I did it with a detox coach. And yeah, he's like he's gotten these like channelings, or yeah, from like, the ascended masters like Jesus, and like these mystics, that they've like, channeled these to certain people, like these processes. And so it's believed that Jesus was like a mystic who was a Kriya yogi, and so was Babaji. And they were helping people out to cleanse, and they had certain rituals that they would do. And so some of the things that I would do was like, I would thoroughly cleanse like every single day. I had two enemas a day at least. I had all these different essential oils, and I had juices. Pretty much that's what I was living on, was juices, like celery juice in the morning, followed by orange juice, and then I had carrot juice. And I would have fruits. Pretty much if I was like wanting to eat something, I would have a fruit. And I I think the first day I started this, also I would have daily yoga,
Mhm.
pranayama, with my detox coach. And the first day we started this, I I got rid of like long tapeworms. Yeah. And
Oh,
then the longer I was doing this, the longer they got. Like, I had one that was like 40 centimeters long.
oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. Like, I took photos of everything that was coming out, because I couldn't, like, I just needed this proof that I did this. Like, because before I did this, I didn't believe that we had parasites, honestly. I was like, yeah, right. And then actually, as I was cleansing and I was doing more cleanses, I got more sensitive to my body. And I noticed that there were things moving around. And I got so like paranoid. I got so paranoid that I wasn't sure if I should go to the doctor or what, because I was like, maybe parasites do exist. Because like I'm cleansing and I'm noticing that there's stuff moving around. And I'm like, and then and that's when like a few weeks later my detox coach showed up, Kritananda.
Mhm.
um, he showed up in my life, like you know, the mystical life happenings that happened in my life, and that was the solution, you know, the answer to my prayer was his presence, that he guided me to get rid of um these things, you know, like. And I don't necessarily think that people should be afraid of parasites. It's natural. It's a part of life, you know, like I mean there are parasites in the soil, animals have parasites, but the bad thing is when they accumulate and when your body just gets invaded by them, you know, if your body is not getting rid of them um in a good amount, in a you know, timely manner, then they can accumulate, and that's not good because we get depressed, we get, you know, just into like angry moods or like bad moods, and they start controlling us too. They start wanting us to like eat like sweets and like carbs, and yeah, it's um, you know, it's a good thing to cleanse, I think, at least once or twice a year.
At
Um,
least, yeah.
yeah, but of course, if you're living the yogi lifestyle, like the pranic lifestyle, then if you're just doing breath work, if you're doing breath work and you're connecting to the light, and you're already eating, you know, you're not eating or you're eating very lightly, you're gonna get rid of these things. So I mean, it's all okay.
Because when when you came from the, you know, the belief, or you know, the belief system, like one of my mentors says, it's all BS, right? It's all BS. Belief systems, right? Belief systems is BS. But when you came from that thinking like, oh, I don't have that in my body, like that might be in their body, but that's not in my body, like I don't have this, you know, and you released it and you said the longer you did it, the longer they got. They just kept getting longer and you were just releasing tapeworm after tapeworm. When you took the evidence and you saw that it was undeniable, it was irrefutable, it was unquestionable that this was inside you, what was your feeling of witnessing this? You know?
My feeling was relief. Like I was just so relieved to that this was finally like coming out, because I had done an herbal cleanse before I did this intense cleanse with the detox coach. I had done a you know, the mucusless diet. I was doing that, and I was doing like a parasite herbal cleanse, right? And I noticed that I was releasing like something, like a lot of parasites, but they were really tiny. They weren't like these long tapeworms, you know, like they were tiny, tiny worms. And then it wasn't until I started doing this intense cleanse with Kritananda that that I they actually that I was releasing tapeworms. I guess they're just more difficult to get rid of.
Mhm. So they really hang on, they really cling on in there. Like they're holding on for dear life, really. You know, it's like they're, well, I mean, if we're the host, if we're carrying them, like you say, life just wants to live. It almost sounds like they, I mean, they need us to survive.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the accumulation, I like how you gave that information on, it's actually the accumulation of this build up vibration that we need to, you know, and that also gives way to a lot of emotional frustration with that build up and that accumulation. So Man, there's so many directions we can go. I'd love to do another one. I'd love to have another one of these talks because I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so
Yeah.
much we can get into, but I just thank you so much for just, your honest transparency, your expression, and just talking about these touchy topics that really challenge us today, that people don't really understand, that people aren't really aware of. And if someone wants to get in touch with you, if someone wants to receive your services, if this is the first time they met you, Lisa, and they say, "Oh man, I really enjoy what she's talking about," how would you like someone to get in touch with you?
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, you took your time to talk to me and get to know me. And I would love to, do another live with you. And yeah, like if anybody's curious about, anything that I've spoken about or anything else, I'm open. You can just DM, send me a message. I think that's the easiest way for me to respond to somebody. Um, yeah, I think that's the best way.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. And is there a website that you might have people go to if they have any of your services?
Yeah, I also read tarot
Okay.
cards. Um, I read tarot cards. I channel as well, and um,
The High Priestess.
yeah,
High Priestess Luna.
yeah, High Priestess Luna, and there I have a website in case anybody is curious about learning anything about their present, past, or future, and you know, they can just go to my website. It's highpriestessluna.com, and just take a look and see. I actually used to live in my house where I got kicked out of that was actually near a ley line, like right next to a ley line. And so I got some really intense channelings there.
Mm,
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. Well, we'll stay in touch. We'll stay in tune. And till the next time, thank you.
Yeah, until next time. Thank
Right.
you.
Take
Take care.